to us because we're going to be. We can't risk losing aid in the state of Wisconsin, you know, so
What is the aid?
whatever it takes. What's it?
Have you heard of the aid? Is it 250 or 213?
So 250 is what's out there. It hasn't gotten shaved, you know, hasn't been shaved down yet, and it really seems like there's a solid commitment to that. So that's a good thing. So what will happen then at this eligibility meeting, any paperwork that we have, it's gonna have a caveat on there saying, hey, just so you know, here's what the benefit package looks like, keeping in mind, we wanna make sure that we're Act 10 compliant. You know, so our broker will help us with that. But we have to, so every year, there's a chance to re-enroll in our insurance. So that, we're gonna have a meeting on May 30th to discuss all the different benefit updates that we have. We had some major benefit updates last year, so right now, we're just at the renewal stage, and I have presented to the board what those renewals look like. So we're in a good position overall. Everything when it comes to insurance has worked out well this year, with the exception of our commercial insurance and our workman's comp. That has a big increase for us, but we'll get to that when we talk about the budget on May 15th, so that'll come up. So open enrollment window is officially closed for the state of Wisconsin. That closed on April 28th. I think what's interesting is the open enrollment exception starts basically immediately too, you know, so we have this window, we wait until it's closed, we run our reports, and then the exceptions can occur pretty much as long as the district involved says it's the right thing, then it's the right thing. So, but we're doing the best we can with what we have. So we did receive 29 new applications in and 19 new out. That really is a big, huge question mark still, because they have until I think it is the end of June here, before they actually have to tell us what their decision is. So it's a wait game is what it is. However, we're still gonna follow up with them, with everybody. So when it comes to the ability to deny open enrollment seats, actually in this DA report that I shared with you, there's a link that takes you to the reasons why you can deny. And really what it comes down to is you can't unless we, as a board, you as a board, set a certain number of seats this winter, and you did. So if any of their requests exceeded the amount of seats that we said were available. And right now, we're not there, so we're good. The 4K seats are at 10, we had 10 applications in. Anybody after that would have to be put on a wait list as right now. Now, if you ask me if it's a good idea to deny any 4K enrollment, I would say absolutely not. You want to bring them in. Let's have all the students as much as possible have a great experience, and then they're going to stick around in 5K. That's what your hopes would be. So, but as of right now, with the numbers that came in, and I have this with me if anybody's interested in looking at it. These are the number of seats that the board approved in the month of January. So we're good to go. So some of them, we actually approved 27 seats in first grade that were available. You know, the areas where we were tight was early childhood and 4K, as well as third grade and fourth grade, and all of those were fine. So when those come at the next board meeting for approval, so that we could make sure we're following through with our family communications, it really is just a formal action is what it needs. So, okay. So any questions on open enrollment? Did I confuse anybody? No? So, budget update. We have been talking budget, and more budget. We're in a good place as far as pulling all of that together. And we will have, like I said earlier, actual formal preliminary budget to present to the board in May. We actually approve the final budget in the month of October before the levy. So we're in a good position to have all that information so that we can all make educated decisions regarding our staffing and our building level budgets, district level budgets. So keeping that in mind, our preliminary teacher contracts. So state statute says, hey guys, by the way, we have to approve teacher contracts before May 15th. And then when it came to the non-renewals, preliminary notice of non-renewals, we had some timelines that we had to issue preliminary notices of non-renewal by April 30th, with final notices by May 15th. We, based upon all of our budget projections, did not do any preliminary notices of non-renewal, so therefore there are no final notices of non-renewal. So therefore, all the contracts that we have to share with you that are anything 75% or above, we are legally obligated to follow through with that dollar amount that they're making today, you know. So what we did have, when we get to the teacher contracts, you'll see a couple of our teachers that are lower in FTE than 75%. There's a reduction based upon course requests at the high school. So we really tried to tighten up everything as much as we possibly could when we were looking at this budget. I did skip over this. We do have a reduction in revenue looking ahead for next school year. We talked about it in our revenue limit, so we've been making all the adjustments behind the scenes as we're preparing that budget for next week. So the FTE included in the certified staff spreadsheet reflects all of our current FTE, except for those 2 reductions. And there is 1 teacher resignation that I received before we pulled the contracts together, so their contract is not going to be approved tonight. The salary amounts are exactly the same as they were in 16-17. As I mentioned, there are no non-renewals of the certified staff as of now, and there won't be. So, and then per the certified staff handbook, updated salary amounts are presented to the board in the fall once we have a final budget approved. So any increases, any of that kind of stuff, we wait until everything's kind of shaken down and we really know what's happening with state of the budget. As far as referendum update, there's a lot of text here, but it is actually pretty simple right now because we're just starting out looking at, okay, where are things at? So when we move ahead, there's definitely going to be a template as far as the communication, and my update tonight follows that. So there'll be, hopefully on a regular basis, you're going to hear about design updates, then you'll hear about construction, what's up with that, then you'll hear about the finance piece, and then communication, and how we're going to communicate as a school district about it. So we met with Bray and Findorf. We don't have design teams yet, so we're going to pull design teams together by the end of the month. Originally, we had a date set for the same day as that open enrollment window for health insurance, and that can't change. We have to meet. So the design meeting, who knows when it'll be here by the end of May. So the big design teams all at the high school level. Parkview will have a couple staff members to help for that STEM space at the elementary. Like, you could have a whole bunch of people if she chooses to. It's all voluntary, but we definitely are engaging the faculty in the designing process. So the high school, we're looking for at least 12 volunteer staff members, could be up to 15. And then from there, they'll work with their departments, they'll work with their advisory boards. So any of the groups that have provided input, as far as we've got a tech advisory board, IT advisory board, and ag advisory board. So they'll have a chance to work outside of these design meetings to give input. So when it comes to the construction, so approximately $900,000 of the $24.5 million is allocated for us, for the Mayville School District.
How'd you come up with that?
It was right in our documents.
Oh, okay.
So what we put in, Mayville will do this, Mayville will do that in advance. So what I learned when it comes to all the design work, so it's HVAC, it's plumbing, it's electrical. The design work is not done by our construction manager, that's all done by Bray. That's built into the package with Bray. So they have mechanical engineers on hand who will help us to do all the design work. And then everything for us is a sealed competitive bid process. So one of the things is we can't rush anything. We need to go through the process, get those designs done right, build an understanding of those designs, say, yep, these are good. Then those go to a competitive bid process. When we talked about, hey, could we accelerate the Parkview? Could we accelerate something at the middle school? So, well, there's plenty of design work that needs to go along with all of that. And so there's no way that that's going to be able to be done by July. Because you've got all the design work to do, then you've got the competitive bid process to go with all that, and it needs that timeline that we spelled out in the beginning. So while I was hoping, say, hey, could we get something moving? Reality is no, we just need to, I've heard this a lot in my life, but trust the process, trust the process. That's the timeline that was spelled out. So, and I also learned too, that by having a small project, we'll say it's $500,000, and putting all of that on its own for the competitive bid process is not going to be as attractive as a big bundle of all of them together, and your savings in saying, I'm bidding on $4 million, versus I'm bidding on 500. So hopefully you'll see savings by having all of that together. So one of the things that Mike talked about tonight, just a little bit, he alluded to it, one of the things is that we need to work on is a bond proceeds manager. So when we actually get those bonds in, they help to sell them, and in the meantime, there's interest that accumulates on that as well. So I don't think that's built into the model, but right now, there's some definitely more saving opportunities that come by engaging with a bond proceeds manager. That we have to do an RFP on, so Janelle's working on that. There's 3 that I know of. One of the names is I've never heard of before, so we'll see if, when we send out the RFP, if they come forward. But ADM is one of the, and PMA. So 3-letter acronyms for both of those. So PMA is probably the most well-known in the area. ADM is a newer company in the state, but both seem very, very well organized, and I have met with both of them. But we have to do the RFP, and then that'll be brought to the board for approval too. So that's coming up. So, and then finally, as far as communication goes, Findorf, when we get into the actual construction process, they provide a very detailed referendum update that we can be able to use to put up on our website and to send out to the community. So our website's gonna get another level to it coming up here. So you'll see, here's all the things we've talked about now. This is where you go to get updates on whatever's happening. So good example, when we have a direction on what's happening with the finances, that'll go up on the website. Anything and everything related to the referendum moving ahead, we're gonna wanna have that be a go-to spot for our community. So we will have newsletters that we mail, but those are gonna be slim because there's cost with that. So we will infuse those in with our, right now, we plan on having 3 to 4 newsletters a year. So the big community mailings, that Findorf will help to create content about whatever's happening with the construction that goes with that. And we're hoping that Bray will help articulate communication updates that we can send out also bi-weekly regarding the design process. So it's all good, but we're just starting here. We're just starting to chip away. There's tons of work to be done.
Is there any way to put these 4 points into the paper or somewhere so that
Yeah.
the citizens of Mayville can see
That,
our
yes,
progress?
thank you for that. That was one of the big pieces. That's what
Okay.
we would be responsible for getting that out in the Pioneer.
Okay.
For sure, and we're gonna try to stick to those 4 bullets constantly, so it's real transparent, I guess, would be a good word to use. Okay, any questions on that at all? All right, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of questions coming. So the next piece here, we'd like to coordinate a local board workshop. So where our legal counsel, John St. Peter, would come in, talk about board duties and responsibilities and how everybody's gonna work together. So we were looking at some dates here, and also, on that note, Janelle would be running a school finance workshop with everybody too. So it's probably about a 3 to 4 hour meeting because of that, about an hour and a half, 2 hours with our legal counsel, and then another hour and a half, 2 hours going through this school finance experience. That's different than the budget presentation to the board. This is more school finance 101. So,
Is that like you gave to the?
yeah, right. And that experience that we probably got through about 80% of it with the committee that we were working with in the fall, but that really is designed for boards.
So what time
the
are you
dates
looking
were-
at?
That would be up to you.
Okay.
So I just was able to lock in some dates for John St. Peter, and he can do it like early hours or late. And then the other speaking of workshops, if anybody's interested, you know, the dates that I'm sharing are May 16th and May 18th. Well, WSB is putting on their own version at CISA 6, similar to what John St. Peter would be doing with us from 6:30 to 8:30 in Oshkosh. So if anybody really wants to go for it, they could go up to CISA 6 on the 16th, then they could come and they could be in a workshop with us on the 18th, if that was something you're interested in doing. I do need a direction on what to do with the timeline.
Anybody have a preference in dates?
May 16th is better for the first one.
Is that
Well, depends on what time we're looking
Tuesday.
at.
Do a board meeting on the 15th.
Are you thinking daytime, like,
I would think in the evening, 5 o'clock.
that I can do today?
Evening.
That's in after 60, Tuesday, that's your meeting.
Anybody else?
Guess it doesn't matter to me which one.
Okay, I would say the 16th at 5 o'clock.
Okay, I'll lock it in for everybody.
CISA, you would have had lunch, so you better have lunch here too.
We're gonna take budget, you know.
Or you can chicken bake.
Please.
We'll have something edible. I don't know what it'll be.
Probably chicken from Mayville.
Okay, so May 16th at 5. All right, thank you for that. And then we did a lot. Oh, you have something?
I was going to go back, I thought there was something that we were gonna tour, something, did I read something in there? Or where did you have that?
The bus tour? I
No,
can't
no,
make it
no,
work.
about,
Oh, yes. Yeah, the design teams in the month of June are gonna start doing some site visits. So if there's any place you wanna recommend to go
I think
to.
you should go earlier, because if we start talking to the teams, hey, we like that, what we seen in Berlin, or I know Joel has got a couple places where
We're ready to roll. We just need to get them together in one spot to figure out who the design teams are. And right now, with the timeline of things, Gray and Findorf couldn't even make it before that to meet with us.
I mean, just to see the buildings, I mean, like, where we're at. Do we
Sure.
need them? Do we need them, or?
We can get, they're actually, Bray right now gave us a list of different buildings to go to.
Okay.
So if Berlin is one of those that we definitely need to see, and they have a great facility.
No, it's Ripon, I think, it's Ripon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Ripon, right now, they've got awesome facility. So I think I actually threw that in there as one of them to go to. We probably are gonna end up doing a couple days. So it would be staff here, staff here, staff here, they all get together, okay, now here we
We got a
go.
good coordinator back there,
So-
so does a good job.
Is that Lee?
Yeah.
Lee's good at giving tours, all right. Okay, so this is a whole bunch of stuff, is the deal. We've been very busy. So the Blue Zone School District, we had a meeting. You don't necessarily become a Blue Zone School District, you become a Blue Zone School. So all three of the buildings is looking at the criteria it means in order to qualify for Blue Zone, and we're coming back together within a week here, I think, to look at really how that all worked out. And they are pulling together some committees that'll end up feeding into the School District Wellness Committee. So we'll have some follow-up on that. There was an emergency planning meeting with Dodge County and other area school districts. We are meeting right after school is out. We're gonna come meet at Mayville School District in our middle school library. We're gonna look at our school emergency operation plans, and all of us together are gonna look at them and make any updates to our appendixes and annexes so that Dodge County can see one big update. So if you look at it, there has not been a lot of housekeeping done to those since those were created many years ago. So those need to be updated. That's a good thing. Right now, you're looking at the trivia night champions, co-champions, many of the people in the room here. So we had fun. That was a really neat activity, and a lot of community spirit, I think, came out of that night. So that's a great event. I mentioned the benefits advisory piece. I mentioned meeting with PMA and ADM. So covered all that. The Teach Grant. So the Teach Grant, there's still some, it's a consortium. So Teach dollars or professional development dollars that we were awarded at the beginning of the school year. You had to be part of a consortium in order to do it. So it's Mayville School District, Aaron School District, and H&R School District that are our partners. So we can pool, we can benefit and support each other with these dollars. So as we get to the end of the year, the thing with this award was we received it late in the game, and we had to be very specific on what you could spend it on. So for us, we could spend, we'll say about half of our dollars, like $7,000, to bring people to us. Okay, so we looked at our in-service, we mapped it out, good intentions. One of the people who was flying in to meet with us, his flight got canceled, the whole thing was off. It was a $3,000 grant, now that's just sitting there, what are we going to do? So we regrouped the other day, and there are gonna be some extra offerings that are in the month of June that our staff members can go to that are being funded through the grant. So I'll have some, in the administrative team has yet to even see all those, I just will be communicating that tomorrow. So it's a great grant to get. I hope we get it again next year. I hope we also receive advance notice so that we have more time to plan versus during the school year being awarded that. Sixth grade camp, maybe John will speak about it tonight. Awesome, absolutely amazing. It's Earth Day Science Camp for 5 days is what it is. And it's super well done, an excellent tradition here. And then some of the administrative team went to the CISA 6 workshop in Oshkosh. It's called Working on the Work. It's a free workshop put on by the DPI. Really top-notch stuff. We got to hear Mike Maddow speak. He talks about visible learning and what's high impact. What are things that we do in schools that have the greatest impact on student learning? So it was a good experience for all of us. I'll just keep it at that. Looking ahead here, there's a lot of concerts. So concert tomorrow night, it's the middle school concert at the high school. There's the district wellness committee meeting on the 4th. High school concert will be also on the 4th at 7 o'clock. Friday is filled with legislative breakfast, the PAC meeting, Dodge